So what's the Kinison story?
Oh, well, when we met, he was working the door and he had started doing late night spots
Right.
about, the last one,
Yeah.
like, 1:45 in the morning.
Right.
And that's all he could get at that time. And he came up to me. And at that point, I was already a regular and I was playing in the main room and I was getting standing ovations every night.
Yeah.
And he came up to me and he said, man, I'm just such a fan. I love what you do. And I go on really late at night. I go on the last spot in the original room. And would you hang out and watch me? And I said, yeah, sure. So I hung out that night and I watched him.
Yeah.
Makes me cry to think about it. I sat at the back of the room, man, and I watched the world change.
Yeah.
And I was crying with laughter.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I had ever seen somebody marry. Comics are usually intellectualizing things.
Yeah,
right. They go above the emotion to intellectualize something and say to the world, here's how you deal with it without having to come apart.
Uh-huh.
But he was the first one that was immersed in his emotions.
Yeah.
And his anger.
Yeah.
And expressing that at the same time as there were these brilliant routines that I'd never heard anything like.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was watching Bird. I was watching Charlie Parker. I was watching, early Miles Davis. I was seeing something really extraordinary. And he came off stage and came up to me and said, what do you think? And I said, what do I think? I think you're it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And good luck to you. Because that's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Plus I knew that he had picked a character and a persona as we speak about the book.
Yeah.
And the personas we create that sometimes we can't live up to.
The Beast.
He created a persona that he couldn't get out of, basically.
Or live up to.
Every time he got sober, people came up and screamed in his face.
Yeah.
And needed him to be the Beast. And so that was a very hard thing to get out of. We drove to Tulsa together, and he was going to train me how to preach, and we were going to go on the road because he wasn't known yet. We were going to go on the road as Pentecostal preachers, and he was going to call me Lightning Boy Jim, and I was going to do the thing. We never got to do it, but I got to listen to him preach in the garage with Brother Marnie and the family.
Some energy, right? It was the energy.
Incredible energy. And it was kind of wild to see because he hit so hard, at a certain point that he got kind of carried away and frozen in the image of himself. And so you notice like the second album and the second or third Letterman isn't as tight and it's more about who he's become.
Well, it's about
what he had to say.
It became, it became sort of like, I can do this fucked up.
But it also became like a rock star. He became a rock star.
That was crazy.
And every rock star in the world was fawning all over him. So it was tough. It's a tough ego thing, man, when you're faced with that kind of, reverence, coming at you. I don't think he was able to handle it.
Yeah, but the guitar thing, my feelings about him are complicated, but it just seemed to me that, the clarity of that first record or the night you saw him or the night that you were hanging out with
him. The
vision.
Yeah. There was a vision.
And like, a lot of people don't realize, like when you walked into the room and he was doing that shit from that first record, he changed this, the energy in the fucking room.
No, it was crazy.
It was menacing, dude. It was
menacing. Woe to those who became offended enough to leave, because then he was ripping you apart. It was the guy had his dick in her purse, and I hope you find a lump. And I mean, my God, he would go to places that people were just, what did he say?
But you also were able to create a sort of different energy because of the intensity you brought to it, and you became a star before him. So I'm imagining you're looking at him going through his paces, and I don't know how close you guys remained, during that time, or if you were at all, or he used to hide himself from you at that point. But I mean,
there was a time when we split, because he was going down that direction of the outlaw.
Yeah.
And I hung for a long time with him, and we got in some scraps and together, and there was some. It got pretty hairy around Sam. It was pretty hairy. So I just know myself, and I know that I wasn't meant to be. I have a rebellious streak, but I'm not an outlaw, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And me too. Me too.
There came a time where we had a sit down that did not turn out well,
right?
Because he wanted me to come on the road with him, and I said, I just can't, Sam. I'm sorry. You know,
I'd like to live.
To do my own thing. Yeah. Yeah. I'm clinging to this thing called life.
That was always the feeling I got. Someone's going to go down. It's probably going to be
me. And it will be me.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm the guy that catches the bullet meant for him.
Exactly.